I'm at the Cape Town International Convention Center on day 2 of the Investing in African Mining Indaba. And with me to have a conversation right off the back of a Bloomberg exclusive interview is none other than the Kobold Metals Africa CEO, Mfikeyi Makayi. Mfikeyi, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for inviting me once again, Mwelwa.
Absolutely. So this morning we just have one question because we know that you had a very exhilarating interview with Bloomberg. Just tell us a bit about the key highlights of that particular interview.
I think the biggest thing that's the topic of an interview is the MinGa build. We're quite excited about it, how long it's going to take us to build, how much we need to spend to build it, and we were able to address all of that, and this is why we're at the Mining Indaba, to be able to network and see what sort of people we're going to work with.
Absolutely. Now, speaking of MinGa, are you able to just give us a high-level highlight in terms of the state of the project and where you guys are at right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're still exploring on the resource and on the outboard of the resource, but we've rapidly moved into the mine design stage and mine development. We've got a full engineering studies team. We're looking at all the things that we require now, the permitting for the build through the rest of this year, 2025, particularly looking to start shaft sinking in early 2026. There's obviously a number of things that need to line up around that. We need to make sure we're coordinating with all government institutions. We need to make sure we follow a full approved ESIA process, and we're working towards that goal quite rapidly. So our goal is speed and efficiency, and we're not going to take any shortcuts. Okay, so fundamentally, you can either build or develop your own tech, you can buy a technology solution, or you can partner. And we play across all three. Where we build is where we want to have an advantage in speed, time, and consistency. Where is the biggest leap? Fundamentally, to make a discovery. That's really important for Kobold. On the development front, we just talked about the shortage of people in the geoscience field. We also partner with research institutions. The founders are earth scientists. They're not your typical mining or exploration executives. So we've made sure that the universities in Zambia are partnered with Stanford University. So we're teaching geosciences with data science very, very deliberately, because the curriculum also has to change so that there are new skill sets coming into the field of geoscience. We have geoscientists in the company who've gone off and focused on data science in other firms, whether they worked in oil and gas. The oil and gas industry actually started this data science move many, many years ago, and all part of the natural resource space. And I think it's going to come to people in the mining and exploration space. I think it's about accepting it in our business models. So obviously, yes, we expect the skeptics, but that's disruption's job. Disruption's job is to solve problems, is to create skepticism, and then we come up with many more new ideas. So we have collaborators in form of research institutions like Stanford University. We want to have the same impact here in Africa. So in Zambia, with the University of Zambia, with the Kobold University, which will be pushing out the future graduates. We know that the African continent has the fastest growing population, and a lot of young people want to be part of this revolution. We want to industrialize. It's not only for the global north, who has aging infrastructure that wants these minerals. The global south also wants to industrialize. We want to see development here. So that hunger is there, and being a corporate player in a certain host community, this is how we have to collaborate at all levels, down to tertiary education. How are we making sure we're doing robotics programs at the secondary school level? It's everyone's responsibility, and I think the appeal is to everybody in the room, through your respective African governments, have these conversations, have these courageous conversations on being deliberate about collaborations. People in the technical services spaces, we want to be able to talk to people flying surveys. Hey, how can we try different sensors? Kobold has a product called Hyperpod. If you fly over an area with your standard plane, the imagery of the pixel is using 8 VNIR. We improve that to 356 so we can enhance a lot of what we see when we're flying over an area. We did it in Canada, and we want to do that with many other partners. So it's being deliberate, again, because the company's model has a technology leg. You have to be deliberate about partnering, about developing, and also about buying and fitting in whatever is already on the market. Our model is data scientists and geoscientists come together. It's not a plug-in service. Most firms now are moving to say, all right, have a data scientist who knows how to build models and work with different algorithms and works with a geologist who understands how the mineral system formed, under what conditions, and they co-build together. It's not one versus the other. You try, you predict, you iterate, you had a prior position, you come up with a posterior, and you reduce the uncertainty. The model continues learning and improving by falsifying hypotheses much quickly. So I think it's really how firms model utilizing data scientists alongside geologists. So it's geology and exploration is not for geologists only. You have to look at everyone as explorers. Even the data scientists and the people building the models are part of the exploration problem, trying to solve a problem. And this is how you keep improving, by through repeatability. But with big computing power, you do it with speed. You're running 10,000 models with a lot more computer power. So I kind of see it a bit differently from here. I think we step back into why Kobold enters this space. We understand that there's a need for these critical minerals, otherwise we wouldn't be here. Everybody knows that exploration investments are considered very risky, but exploration methods over the last 50 years haven't fundamentally changed. If you look at peer industries in big pharma or in oil and gas, they spend way more than us in base metals in exploration, comparatively. Big pharma spends $110 billion in the 3-year average, compared to what we spend in base metals, about less than $1 billion collectively as a world in pure exploration. So we're not spending the money required to do all the research. Kobold is utilizing its technology to make drilling predictions of how to look below the surface of the earth at depth. Most of the deposits that have been found in the last 100 years have been exploited at surface. We see the grades are going lower, and many more mining projects would rather just lower the cutoff grades to add more inventory. But it doesn't solve the problem and the fact that we need many more mines to be able to meet the energy transition requirements. That's the first part. So when it comes to data and technology, we need to democratize data. Here in Africa, everyone is saying, oh, Africa has 30% of the world's mineral resources. But unfortunately, the data is not public. Private players have these private gardens of data that they keep. The government has these sparse sets of data, not really well stitched together. But if you compare to jurisdictions like Canada, Finland, and Australia, annually, they're spending about $1 billion in exploration. Compared to here in Africa, we spend 1/10 of that amount. So how are you going to stimulate investment in exploration if everyone is, I'll call it, hiding the data? So for me, it's 4 key levers to democratize data. Accessibility, submission, ensuring that people are submitting to the geological survey departments, digitizing some of this data so everyone can have access to look at it. It's not a treasure map. There's so many sets of data. There's geophysical data, there's geochemical data, there's historical drilling data. That's been collected from the colonial times up to now, but private companies cannot easily access it. So what Kobold did, we flew over an area, we did a survey in Zambia, we handed over the data within the 1-year time frame as allowed, and then we published it on an open source platform so other people can look at the information. We can generate new hypotheses where others did not come up with new ideas. What exploration needs is new ideas. That's when the risk goes down. That's when you'll see more players coming in. Case study in Bolivia that was shared with me a few weeks ago, there's an area called the Precambrian Shield. In the 80s, the Bolivian government did some mapping. By 1986, they published about 14 sets of data. By the early 1990s, there were 35 companies exploring. By the end of 1999, there were 2 mines and 1 in development. It's a sales funnel. If you've been in the sales business, that's how it works. So if we're going to stimulate this, we need to start by democratizing data.
Hello everybody, and welcome to another exclusive interview by Financial Insight. It's Mwelwa again on day 2 of the Investing in African Mining Indaba in Cape Town, South Africa. And I'm about to talk to our good friend from Kobold Metals Africa, Madam Mfikeyi, or is it Engineer Mfikeyi Makayi?
Mfikeyi Makayi is fine.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now Mfikeyi, I mean, for Financial Insight, we know that Kobold has obviously started the year on on a very good note. We, for example, we heard about your networking event, which is now slowly becoming like an annual event. Are you able to tell us about how you found that particular event and what your experience was like engaging with different stakeholders?
Yeah, so yeah, it is becoming a tradition. I think it's quite important when you start looking at the level of investment we're pouring into Zambia to communicate to all stakeholders. And being in one place, aligning what we've done in the last 12 months, what we're going to do in the next 12 months, also helps create accountability. It also helps galvanize people looking to partner and do business with us, at least on within Zambia in the local industry. And that's very, very important, that we communicate transparently, we're able to be held accountable, and we also bring a lot of people on board to carry us along and make sure we deliver this project in, at least I'd say, record time or on time.
Absolutely, and I'd like to imagine that during that event there must have been like questions about the big announcements, for example, the capital raise. Did you get any requests for information around that as well?
Yes, well, the capital raise is what it is. It's in the public domain. I mean, this is capital raise at group level. This is for the global company, and obviously this is capital we need to effectively deploy for exploration projects around the world. I mean, we're not only Mingomba, it is a flagship project, but we've been able to prove that by finding Mingombas, we need to make many more discoveries, and that reflects the confidence of our investors in the company and in what we do with artificial intelligence to enable more discoveries.
Absolutely. Now, obviously, you are at Indaba yet again. We did speak to you last year, just before you had some panel discussions. You have 2 panel discussions that you're actually going to be on. Are you able to just give us a high-level summary of what those are and what you're excited to get out of these panel discussions?
Yes. So today, later on in the afternoon, I'm on a panel discussion about human rights violations, particularly in the mining sector. It seems quite different, but very, very important to Kobold's ethics and ethos around community support, anti-discrimination, anti-corruption, and integrity. So that's what's going to be the topic of the discussion. I'll be on a panel with a few other key people from industry, and it'll be quite exciting. The second panel tomorrow is now looking at technology, and this is the space where everyone's always asking. So the role of geoscientific data, how are we leveraging it? What is the role of innovation and artificial intelligence in mineral exploration? So that's also quite going to be an exciting panel, and that's it. I'll be done after that.
Absolutely, and hopefully you'll get a chance to enjoy, sunny Cape Town. But maybe like on a last note, there's been all this talk about DeepSeek and all of that stuff, because we know that AI is a big part of Kobold's journey. Are you able to just tell us about how excited maybe you are regarding all these big announcements that reinforce why it was so important that using this technology to explore better, to enable more efficiency around finding mineral resources?
I mean, well, AI is the buzzword, but again, it's a reality. We're using it in different forms and aspects of our lives. In mineral exploration in particular, we keep saying this over and over, the industry is getting worse and worse at making new discoveries. This is why you'll see many more mines either doing expansion projects because they'll lower what we call the cutoff grades to add more metal inventory. That doesn't solve the problem of the fact that you need to do the discovery work. For us to really transform and industrialize as the African continent, but even as the world, we need to make 1,000 more new discoveries. And that will require exploration. And the traditional methods that we've used for the last 100 years, though they helped us find what we found near surface, we need to be able to use new innovations and new technologies. The body of science needs to grow and expand and change its methodologies. We've seen the impact of doing that in the big pharma space. We've seen the impact even in oil and gas. We're not seeing that impact in the mining space. We're still dated, and this is where we're leading. Being able to merge what we call human intelligence, HI, and artificial intelligence, AI, in the room together. So the exploration is not only geologists. Kobold, we have data scientists, we have software engineers, all of them are explorers. We're people who've never been in a mining or exploration company, ex-Google, ex-Facebook. Our first Zambian data scientist is ex-ZRA, but now he's an explorer. It's literally a shift in the business model.
Absolutely, absolutely. No, we always enjoy our conversations, so we'll be looking forward to covering, you and your team at the 2025 edition of Mining Indaba. So today and tomorrow are obviously packed for you, so we'll let you go now. Get ready for your next panel discussion.
Thank you.
There you heard it for yourself, so stay tuned for more insights from Kobold at Mining Indaba 2025. This is Mwelwa Chibesakunda for Financial Insight. Get to know.
Hi there. Thank you for joining us on another exciting episode of the FIZ Show. My name is Vivian Chiwala and I'm your host for this particular episode. We are currently at the African Mining Indaba 2025 and I'm being joined by the chairman for Kanona Power Company Limited, Mr. Padma Mwelwa. Mr. Padma Mwelwa, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay, so the Mining Indaba just kicked off yesterday and Kanona has been actively participating. Can you tell us what Kanona Energy is looking to achieve from participating at the African Mining Indaba?
Okay, thank you and thanks for the opportunity to have this discussion. Kanona Power Company, if I may start by spending a moment to talk about the background.
Yes,
Kanona Power Company is a Zambian power company licensed and regulated by the Energy Regulation Board. We also have the right to import power to meet our customer requirements. Kanona is primarily serving industrial consumers, primarily mining clients, and so because we are working with a lot of mining clients in Zambia and also in the region, Indaba allows us to understand where the industry is going and for us to meet with our clients.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, Mr. Mwelwa, how has the atmosphere been like ever since your participation at the Mining Indaba since yesterday? Have you had any business engagements? How has it been for Kanona Power Company?
It's been a very interesting and exciting time for the Kanona team. Kanona is well represented at this Indaba. We've got our management team here and we've met with our clients. We've also met with parties that participate in our value chain. We've also met and understood what is happening in the mining sector, because for us we need to prepare with the future trends in the mining sector, which is our key client sector, so that we know what is happening and we develop solutions for them as a business. So the Indaba has been very useful for us in that respect.
Okay, great. So what is the future looking like for Kanona after the business engagements and the support to your clients? Are we looking to see you engage with more clients from the Mining Indaba? Like, what's the takeaway for you?
Okay, thank you. Very interesting question. As you're aware, Zambia as a country is looking to expand its copper output. The stated target by the government is that in the next several years we should get up to 3 million tons a year.
Yeah.
But that doesn't happen overnight. A lot of the mining companies are planning to expand and others to enter into the market. So for us this has been an opportunity for us to engage with them as they plan the expansion. We had a couple of meetings yesterday with players in the market who are making extensive expansion plans. It also was an opportunity for us to look at our own expansion and what is happening in the region around mining players. So yes, it's been a very interesting and exciting opportunity for us.
Thank you so much. Okay, so there you have it. You've heard it for yourselves. Kanona is definitely positioned to future-proof the African mining industry today. Mr. Mwelwa, wishing you all the best in your further engagements here at the African Mining Indaba.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure speaking to you and thank you very much for this discussion. Thank you.
Thank you so much to our lovely viewers. This has been African Mining Indaba at the Kanona Power Company stand. Do stay tuned for more insights and remember, get to know.
Hello everyone, it's Mwelwa again, and we're still at the Cape Town International Convention Center, Pavilion number 2, where we're at the tail end now of day 2 of deliberations and engagements at the 2025 Mining Indaba. We're obviously, as we indicated earlier, that we're covering Kanona Power Company, and with me is Mr. Padma Mwelwa, who we spoke to earlier. He's just been attending a panel discussion as well as some keynote speeches that were given on Country Focus Zambia. And because the company is obviously based in Zambia, I just wanted to have a conversation with him, in terms of how he found this particular session. So, Mr. Piper, how are you doing now?
I'm well, thank you. Just come out of a very interesting panel discussion. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, obviously, it was country-focused Zambia.
Absolutely.
We heard from some of the mines who gave some very interesting presentation. A lot of data was actually shared. But what was also quite interesting was that there was a panel discussion that had not only private sector but obviously government being represented by the Minister of Mines.
Sure.
So at this particular stage, I just want to just get your thoughts in terms of how you found the conversations there and what information really excites you and reinforces the investment case of Kanona.
Okay. Thank you. Very interesting question. I think the panel discussion was very interesting. Interesting in the context that it set out what is publicly stated government's objective around the mining sector. Primarily that we have a target of 3 million tons by 2031, 2 million tons of copper production, that is. And to achieve that, there are core pillars. There are three others I won't speak about. I'll focus on the one that is primarily relevant to Kanona. And that is availability of energy and in particular power. That's particularly important for us because Kanona's primary business premise is the supply of power to industrial consumers and in particular mining customers. And so we have come some way from where we started, and we see a very interesting trajectory in the growth of the energy sector from where we are today. And we definitely would like to participate in that growth curve in supplying the power that the country will require in order to support the mining companies meet the target that has been set by government. So very, very exciting. And we definitely want to be a key player in the delivery of the energy required to meet the targets set by the government and by the mining companies themselves.
Absolutely. Now, speaking of the mining companies, obviously recently the Minister of Mines had indicated that there's been 12% growth in copper output production. Sure. More copper being produced means that there's going to be a requirement for more power.
Yes.
Are there any comments around that obviously excites you in terms of the prospects for more business for energy companies such as yourself?
Absolutely. Today, as the Minister highlighted for 2023, I believe, the number was 823,000 tons of copper produced. So that is quite a sizable jump to 3 million tons, which is the target in the next few years. And so therefore, we aim to get our fair share of the energy required to support that growth in copper output. So very, very exciting for us. We do want to play, as I said, a key role, a big part in delivering the energy required to meet that that copper mining output.
Right. Now, just on a final note, you've obviously been engaging with some of the mining companies.
Yes.
Are you able to share with us, what their, I'd say, country sentiment is like for Zambia? Because we know that mining does require big capital to come and invest, and we've just come from what I would say was a fully packed a session compared to some of the others that I've seen at several Indabas.
Sure.
Are you confident that this more or less there's a positive vibe, I'd say, about investing in Zambia, especially around mining?
Sure, absolutely. We have had both prior to the presentation or the discussion of this afternoon, we've been meeting with mining companies, some that are in the expansion processes right now, in the near-term time frame, and they remain very positive. Part of that was outlined in the discussion today. We've also been meeting other mines that are looking to expand at a slightly longer horizon. But as you know, the sort of investment required for mining requires confidence.
Correct.
In order to invest in mining, mining is a very long-term investment horizon. And what is very clear to us is that the confidence is absolutely strong in order for them to make the sort of commitments that have been made. In today's presentation, we heard that First Quantum, their S3 expansion was a $1.3 billion expansion. We're aware that Lumwana is a $2 billion expansion. There's several others that are where there's quite significant capital investment required. And that all reflects the level of confidence these mining companies have in the mining story of Zambia. So Zambia is a very strong mining story, and as Kanona, we're very keen on supporting that mining story in order that those mining companies are able to attain the targets that they've set for themselves. So they are strongly positive. I think we're even more so.
Absolutely. Bullish on mining.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. No, Mr. Padma, thank you so much for sharing your insights. Hopefully we'll engage with you as the days at Mining Indaba go on. It's only day 2, so much more to actually come.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for this discussion. Look forward to engaging with you further. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. So continue to follow all the insights from the Financial Insight platforms as we continue to cover Kanona at the 2025 Mining Indaba. This has been Mwelwa Chibesakunda for Financial Insight. Get to know.